States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. I need approval of the agenda. So I need a motion to approve the agenda as presented. So moved. Second. Questions? Comments? Roll call.
Mrs. Lopez? Yes. Mrs. Pershbacher, yes. Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Pollard?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Dr. Anderson?
Yes. Correspondence, Jeff.
Yes. From Glenda Boyce and family, thank you for sending the lovely flowers to my mother's funeral. Ernie Ferguson. And from the Smith family, thank you so much for the beautiful flowers for our mother's funeral. You all had a special place in our mother's heart. And from Dr. Kelly West, the school improvement director, I wanted to personally thank you again for hosting the speech language pathologists at the 2019 St. Clair County Institute. We are so grateful for this partnership and the continued support that District 175 provides to our county.
Thank you. We have a student representative report.
So we have Emma and Trevor here. They are both Eagle Pals, and they are very involved in Harmony. So you guys want to go ahead and give your report?
Well, getting the arms out, so. Hi, my name is Trevor, and today we will be talking about, or sharing about, a lot of cool and fun things we do in the school. Now I will give the floor to Emma.
Hi, my name is Emma Johnson, and I am part of many different things at our school, like IMSA, JEL, Art Club, and Eagle Pals. I personally would like to thank you all for the resources you give us to do all these fun things in our club. We have been doing this really fun thing in Eagle Pals. It's a winter coat and school uniform drive to help parents keep their kids warm when it starts to get cold outside. Another thing we do in Eagle Pals is a monthly Care Thread video to help kids be more responsible and respectful. In our club, we made our eagle on the entry side into a witch for Halloween. You also might have seen us at the Fall Festival painting faces. Lastly, in JEL, we've been playing this game called Distraction. The game is where each person in the circle gets 4 cards and different numbers, and the first person puts their card down and says their number. And each time someone puts a card down, they have to say all the numbers underneath the card. This game helps with memory and strategy. Now I will give the floor to Trevor to talk about what he does.
Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is EMSA. This year at EMSA, we are talking about agriculture, mainly farming. In EMSA Fusion, we've talked about making tractors out of popsicle sticks, battery packs, axles, and many other cool stuff. And we've done more things. We've talked about field trips and we just got our EMSA t-shirts. And then in coding this year, we have done basically coding, and we've talked about a storyline in our codes and how stuff moves, a script, and everything like that. And then after that, we took our main character from our following up storyline, and then we decided to 3D print it. Thank you for allowing us to get a STEM room and these really cool 3D printers. Next thing is a park type bonus group, and it's where kids that got a 3.9 park thing, Miss 4D has gathered us to get us a little bit of our boost to get hopefully a 4.0 rating. Not sure more about that, but not sure. And then for one activity we did a SpongeBob, like is he guilty or not? Did he do this or not? And stuff like that. Ms. Coons was the judge of that, and she finally did the verdict and stuff like that. And then we all got smashed the hammer down on the wooden tables. And then Amanda's here. We are having a concert soon, and a lot of kids that are doing it are very like it a lot and are playing a lot and really like to do bands mostly. And that's basically it. And then
see here, get this compliment. You guys did an excellent job. You know, you had your cards and your presentation. You're gonna be real good. You ad-libbed a little bit. I like that. Okay, now we have superintendent.
Yep. In closing your guys' packet, you should have a quick sheet on the evidence-based funding. It just really kind of outlines and highlights where we are in terms of adequacy. That we're still about $3 million behind, and with the state identifies as adequate funding. And it is outlined in our district goal area 3 of financing. I did share with you guys last month that outline, and also shared with the community some of the programs we're doing with that funding. But along with that funding is identifying, critical areas that we can continue to grow in. And obviously we'll continue to look at teachers and what we can do in the classrooms and support staff. But one area, and I know I've talked to our admin team about it, is our students are entering our schools every day with more and more trauma. It's part of our society now. They're going through more social emotional needs than ever before. Additionally, our social workers are the first line of community support. They're about to enter into a very, very busy holiday season coming up. I think they've already started planning for both Thanksgiving and Christmas giveaways. Therefore, it's going to be my desire to, as we move forward, look into the next school year of adding one more full-time social worker. With the foundation levels that we're at now, we're expected to get additional funding next year. One of the things I'll talk to you guys about is the year is on and make a recommendation to is an additional social worker for next year. So that'd be one social worker counselor per building. It would allow them not only to see kids who are in crisis, but also do a lot of response to intervention with social emotional, get into small groups, get into the classroom, push in. I really think it would be beneficial for our kids. So that's one area that we're looking at, along with just even where we can put additional teachers if necessary. Which gets me to my next point of enrollment. You will have the last 10 years, we call it the 6th day enrollment study. It's just it's not an exact number of where we end the year, but it's a good snapshot. Once students are enrolled, the school has started, where we're at. And the reason I put that in there is you can see over 10 years, we've been pretty steady. We've gone up a couple years, we've gone down. But in 2009 and 10, we were at 712 students K through 8. This year, we're at 714. We're going to talk about how some of the classes are big, some are small, and that's the really tough thing for us to plan as administrators, and I wanted to highlight within that chart. We're all over the map. You can see we go from 100 to 60. I mean, we're all over. But the thing that's tough to plan for, if you look diagonally, say if you go from 18, 19, 19, 20, say first grade to second grade, those numbers stay pretty consistent. But if you go over by chance to 6th grade to 7th grade from 18, 19, 19, 20, we went up 8 students. There's been years, and if you look at Mrs. Kramer's in 2nd to 3rd grade, we're anticipating the low 60s for that grade level this year, which is why a day before school started, we were up to 78 students. We had to add an additional kid of 17 kids who came in that we didn't expect or account for. So those numbers are really hard. Sometimes they go down. If you look, from 6th to 7th grade in 2010, 11, 11, 12, we went down 14 kids. And so there's years where they'll go down. Just a few years ago, from 2nd to 3rd grade, we had 101 to 91. So it's really tough for us to always anticipate. That's why I like looking at long-term trend data of where we're at. So when we start looking at things that are long-term solutions, whether it's adding room or adding classrooms, or one of the suggestions brought to me recently was, what about portables? When you start making those type of investments, you do want trends to show us where we're at, and ours are just very hard to gauge, which is why it's what we've been doing, trying to add in extra aides and support staff to try to keep small groups and numbers and flexible learning spaces. I think are a great plan for now, but the issue that we're going to talk about in new business, it's really tough when we're short on subs and we have to pull those aides out of the classroom. And then it is one teacher with 30 kids in the class, so you don't have the ability to have a second set of hands to help you. That's tough. So we get to do business. That'll be a little bit of the basis behind that, and something we've actually talked about for a few years now. In a few days, the state's going to release the report cards with our scores and designations. A few months ago, the principals reported out to you guys where we believe our scores are going to fall. If any designations change, you guys will see a letter from me, and I'll give you an email heads up too. But similar to what I wrote at the beginning of last year for 17-18's school year, if any designations change, I'll send a letter out to the community. But I've gotten 5 emails over the last week from my ISBE, tell your story, tell your story. So I think we've been doing a better job of telling our story, and we can still open up more lines of communication. But in terms of telling our story and sharing a little bit of the opportunities we've been able to provide and the impact I think we are having, I wanted to share this email that I received earlier today. Dr. Dietzen, one day, and Dr. Griffith, this past weekend, Belleville West hosted our annual math competition for 7th and 8th graders. MG is always in the mix, but this year really seemed to do particularly well, earning 1st in 8th grade, 3rd in 7th grade, 1st in the team event, and 3rd in the 2-person event. We don't award an overall winner, but if we did, it would have been MG. It got me thinking about what Tegan Clinton has done with the math program since starting just a few years ago, and it really is incredible. I look back at the freshman class from 2017-18 school year, the last class that Ms. Clinton did not teach, and saw that 8 out of the 78, only 10% of the students from MG were in honors algebra. The numbers this year were 14 out of 82, or 17%. And I would not be surprised if that number went up again next year. When she talks about her students, it is easy to see the passion she has for them. What she is doing is fantastic, and I wanted to pass the news along. So we are. The opportunities that the board has made over the past few years for us to do, it is making a difference. And so, we've talked about opportunities and that our test scores and everything, but it's nice to see emails like that, so I wanted to share that with you guys. And that's it for me.
That's excellent information. Do we have a mobility study?
Each year we do mobility, we hover anywhere between 12 to 15%. I think this year was like 12 to 15%.
So I was looking at the numbers. They don't make sense.
They do, I don't know, so we send them every year, and I always thought they would be higher, but the kids in and out, because they do, it changes. And every year our numbers change, and we have kids coming in, but I think they turn mobility in terms of move-ins and move-outs, not just those who are coming in. So it should-
Well,
so-
you got some, there's some movement going on.
There is, and that's why I want to share that chart, is that it's unpredictable at times.
Right. Now we're ready for the principal's report.
So our principal's report is a little bit different, we're going to report out for a little bit of our time. So the Dibbles,
It wasn't your turn.
Christian,
Combs was going first.
I'm just,
That's, I'm new at this, so I'm just reading it. I'm reading now. It said, Miss Combs. Go ahead, you first. Then Mrs. Kramer.
it's going to make sense that Ellis reports go first because we're going to build off of each other.
Take it back.
But she can introduce us. Absolutely, go for it. Ms.
Principal's report. You're the principals. You guys decide how you want to go.
Go ahead.
Okay, I don't think I want to get into this. So the Dibbles report is given kindergarten through 8th grade. And there are several different components of the Dibbles report, but one clear report that is similar between all the grade levels is oral reading fluency. So the students are given 3 passages, and they're timed for a minute, and it keeps track of how many words correct that child reads within a minute. But it also keeps track of the accuracy that the student reads. There are 3 different levels that students can fall within that range. So you have the intensive, you have strategic, and you have core. Core is right on average, where they say would be the average peer. Strategic would be the lowest, with needing the most help. This is just one of the reports that we use to identify our students for our tiered system and for special education.
And in 7th grade, intensive was 42%, and the core was 58%. In 8th grade, the intensive was 54%, and the core was 46%.
So I do want to highlight too, that these numbers are tough even for us to gauge because on IAR, it's broken into 5 scoring categories with 4 and 5 being your meets and exceeds. When you're looking at core, it could be a combination of 3s, 4s, and 5s on the IAR. So when you look at those, a lot of our students have fallen in that 3 category, which is when they talked about that support that we're giving to 3s now. We're hoping to reach a few more students.
And I think it's important, when you really look at kindergarten, and this is unusual kindergarten class, this is an abnormal kindergarten class. If you have 98% of our kindergartners falling in the intensive range, that's every kindergartner but 2 students. But you look at the growth we make, through the years with those students, even though they are so low coming in, we do a really good job. It's hard to make up the gains when they come in that far behind.
Well, and I'll say it over and over again, I think the standards on which they're judged against are not developmentally appropriate. I've said it for years. Even the state of Illinois is finally realizing that when they made the standards tougher than the National Common Core standards, they shouldn't be shocked when 70% of the state is not meeting standards.
The state has never taken anything in any type of consideration. What did you get with students who were just beginning in school? Districts that come in, because your report actually is very good because of the fact that what you began with as a first grader and in every area that they improve. Communities are like that. I remember when I was in East St. Louis, well, I'm getting kids who come into first grade who can't spell anything. So you got to spend all day you're just doing the basic stuff, and that's what we're getting a little more of that. And so, when listening to your statistics, it seems like it's like, well, we all want 75, 80%, but when you start with almost 0, and you get to 15, you've done a lot of work over the years, and it does take time.
Well, it comes to the conversation that we had at the conference together, and they had talked about the difference in Illinois. If you guys ever have a chance to look at all of the standards, it's each ELA is about that thick, math is about that thick. To actually cover the standards, what they would need is a lot more than the school year. So the difference of covering the standards or actually teaching the
They
standards.
talk with superintendents all the time, who have to
Very
do
tough.
all that, and those are the things that, not like superintendents take up for teachers or things like that, but someone has to understand what they are working with, and if you have kids without the skills and you got teaching skills, you have to look at the jobs. But the state said if we want you at 75, 8, you almost will say we ain't getting there, but we're gonna get you to 50. We're gonna get you. We're gonna keep working. So you're gonna keep
I
working.
think it's all about going back and telling our story.
Right.
Offering
Well,
to
the report that you guys gave is a good report.
Well, that's part of it. So we'll have that 3 times a year. Part of our
Yeah,
goals
I
that
like
you guys
that.
wanted last year is after each suite.
I can figure that
They've
out.
given it to
There's improvement every year.
We'll report back out in December.
Yep, okay. And I apologize, Ms. Clinton, Ms. Jarvis is here tonight, so thank you for all you do. That was an awesome email to get today, so thank you.
Do you want, now you can go. Okay.
Is that all right?
What else she said?
Okay, so some of the stuff that my student representatives had kind of touched on, I want to elaborate on, and Trevor did a great job kind of going off the cuff. So one of the things that he had mentioned was working with Mrs. Forby, and we had kind of talked about some of the changes that we were making to our RTI program, and how Mrs. Forby was going to start pulling some of those kids that we felt could, with a little extra support, be meeting or exceeding on our IAR test. So what Mrs. Forby was having them do was the kids had a story that they read. It was about SpongeBob. It was sort of like a murder mystery thing, and then they had a court case, and I think the judge had a gavel and everything, and so the kids split into SpongeBob is guilty, SpongeBob is innocent, and they had to argue their side of the story and back all of their arguments up with text evidence. So they had to, within their argument, cite text evidence, and they could only argue it if it was backed up by some
side of the court case to kind of sway my opinion. But she did a fantastic job with that, and I'm telling you, the kids got so into it. Another thing I want to touch on is he did talk about the 3D printer. Miss Biss did such a great job reaching out to the library. There's still a couple of kinks going on with the 3D printers, but the coding class got to code their things and send everything to the 3D printers. So it was nice to kind of see all of that play out into what was going on into their head and getting to create that into real life. Mrs. Addison worked really, really hard to organize my teacher night, so if you came to that, it was packed. We had teachers in the drive-thru, we had teachers behind the cash register, there were people delivering food. We had a fantastic turnout of teachers at that, and it was great to see all of the families and the community members there. The last thing that I want to touch on was on the Institute Day on October 11th, Mrs. Kramer invited my 4th and 5th grade over there, and we 6th grade stayed here so they could kind of match with their ELA, and we got to do some really fun activities in her STEM room for that teacher training. So we got to pull out all of the things in their STEM room, and the teachers actually got to get some hands-on stuff and do a little team building while exploring some of those opportunities of things that we have for that STEM room. So I want to thank Mrs. Kramer for inviting us over to partake in that fun activity. I'm next on the agenda, so I'm going to go ahead and start. I too want to say thank you for everybody who participated in McDonald's and McDonald's. I know that they're going through some changes and I'm unsure if we're going to be able to continue to do it. The teachers love it, the kids love it, the community loves it, so thank you to McDonald's as well. Huge thank you to Shannon for Beats with PTO. Another amazing fall festival. I think each year it just continues to grow. I don't know how, because every year it's amazing, but it was a perfect night, beautiful. So thank you, Dr. Griffith, also for driving the truck. Yes, and Dr. Rader said
I got it on.
we're taking
Go
turns
get her.
as well. We had a ton of fun. I also just want to say Belleville West Student Council came to Ellis today to do their Halloween read. It was really nice. 3 of our own Ellis kids came back as a part of the student council to read. It's always nice to have our own come back to our buildings, and they did a fantastic job like usual. I do want to say today that we met, we updated our RTI plan. We had a leadership team meeting, so thank you to Krista and for John, to Amy Forby, and to Cindy Kittenhausen. We spent the morning updating our plan, which is really great because it really gives you a time to reflect to see all the amazing things we do for our kids. That will be available online, so if you'd like to read it, I encourage you to take the time to read what we did. The service learning team kind of caught me off guard. I thought that they were going to vote to have a new swing set, but they didn't. They decided that they wanted water bottle fillers, very similar to what MG and Harmony have within their building. So we have our fundraising board set. They have already raised about $500. Our spooky grams, we sold 550 spooky grams. So they are off to a really good start. Our custodians are amazing, so they're going to install them for free. So they're going to hit their goal pretty quickly. I have lots of other things, so I'm good. So thank you.
Okay, my turn.
Yes, sir.
Just, we sent our 7th and our 8th grade students to the high school, Belleville West High School, for a showing of the Crucible. I just thought it was a great opportunity for the kids to be able to see a theatrical, performance on stage, and all of our kids got to go. And I thought it was just, thank you to the Belleville West theatrical department, and we really enjoyed that field trip. Another thing, we have a presentation coming up. We're working with the SIU Edwardsville School of Pharmacy, and they're bringing a group of students over. They're going to be making a presentation. It's an anti-vaping presentation to our 8th graders. It'll be November the 1st. But I think it's, given the trouble that they're having with, vapors, and especially at the high school level, I think this is a very pertinent topic for our 8th graders. And so thank you to SIU for bringing a group of pharmacy students over and making that presentation. I want to say thank you to Ms. Jarvis. Thank you. You're rock stars in math now. So the kids did extremely well. I talked to some of the kids today in the hallways. They're really excited about their performance in that competition over at Belleville West, and rightfully so. They did a great job, and so I'm really proud of those kids. Okay. And then lastly, but maybe most importantly, I want to recognize Mr. Dietz for an award that he received. I'm the regional director of the Illinois Principals Association. It's a large area. It stems, way out to Sparta and over to Alton and way out, past, Valmeyer and all that area. Very large area. As you know, Dave was recognized with the Herman Graves for the region, a few months back. So his name was in the hat for the state, state recognition. So we were fortunate last week to be able to go to the state conference in Peoria. All of our administrative team had a great time and learned a lot while we were up there. Dave's name was in with some pretty stiff competition from throughout the state. Excellent administrators, principals from throughout the state were in line for that award. Dave didn't know what the result would be, but just announcing at this time, Dave was recognized as the State Herman Graves Award winner, which is the most prestigious award that the Illinois Principals Association gives out for leadership. Dave, your vision, your drive, and just your leadership in our district is much appreciated. We appreciate that. You're well deserving of the award. And, we all stood up and screamed Mr. Dietz as he danced down the middle of this great big auditorium with, many administrators were there. And Dave, we want to really congratulate you for your award.
Pass around, get all our fingerprints on it.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Congratulations.
It was a nice award, but I really, let you guys know, it really is a reflection of, I think, our region as a whole and the board for supporting me all these years and being able to do that. And so I was speechless for a few seconds, and I rallied and it was a problem.
Well, it makes us all proud. That's all that's doing it. It makes us all proud. I was a principal a long time, I know one that. I went to the meetings.
There you go.
Okay, now we have committee reports. Mr. Sanders?
Second reading of press policy update 101. We recommend approval of that. Do you have anything to
No, just, we won't need to meet again. 102 is not out yet. We didn't have our committee meetings this past month. It was pretty crazy. Public relations, I know Ms. Birschbacher brought one of the mailers. I hope you guys liked how we went through a couple drafts, and I got some really good feedback. Unfortunately, please spread the word. This time I've had 0 people contact me to be joined on the mailing. So I don't know if I just didn't make it big enough, if that was my fault. I'm hoping we get some more community members to get on the mailing list. But I think the flyers turned out good. I got a lot of feedback that week that they look good. But I'm hoping to get more people joined in. Building and grounds, I signed off on the CTS substantial completion form. We just have a few punch list items in the building left to go. So really, the next big thing is solar. So those contracts are done. You guys will vote on the final draft of the lease purchase agreement tonight with the bank. But we're ready to get going with that project. I'm really excited about getting solar into the district. Finance, and now that the financing for solar is wrapped up, we can relax for at least the next 2 weeks. But up next, though, is those of you who've been on the committee on the board for a while, in November is the tentative lease levy. And we're going to have some discussions to be had because there is a lot of serious talk, and I know we heard it at IPA, I heard it at the IASA conference in September, and a legal update that the property tax freeze is a very real possibility coming up. That scary things. I don't know if you ever had to deal with that in the past. Property tax extension freezes could be a possibility, and if it happens with the next vote, it would be in place for the next school year. So our November tentative and December approval is actually for the following school year's lease levy. So whatever is voted on in session would be for the 2021 school year. So the decisions we make for this lease levy could be pretty crucial in terms of setting our foundational rates. So that's something we'll need to talk about. And really, finance right now, finance might be the only meeting we have to have. If there's things from public relations or building and grounds that you guys have that we need to talk about or meet, please let me know. I can meet up right now. The only one that I know we have to meet on is finance, and that would be coming up in a couple of Wednesdays.
November 13th.
Yep, November 13th. So finance for sure needs to set that afternoon. I don't know whether 5 or 5:30 or 6, but for the other committees, we didn't meet this past month. That's not unusual either. If we don't have something, I'm not going to waste your guys' evening. If you get it done by email, I'll do that for you, but I don't see a lot of pressing concerns right now for building and grounds and public relations. We've really done a lot of that the last year.
Every neighbor let us know. It always does.
But yeah, finance for sure. We're just going to provide that committees on time. That's it.
Okay, comments from the board. I'll start with the left. Josh, and Randy, and Eric.
Fall Festival was awesome. It was really exciting, so I'm a champion for that. It's good to hear about how our reach scores are going up, and I definitely, being on the public relations board, I definitely get that information out and get that shared across. So it's exciting to hear like the progress that we make in the boards prior and how that's impacted, especially the boards that you guys do. So again, looking forward to the rest of the time to your decisions moving forward.
Good stuff this last month. First, the students, I always love hearing from them, and just the presentations, so enthusiastic, and you never know. I mean, like you said, one, I'm telling you, you've got a future, which is presented to you seriously, wow. And this is excellent practice. Another thing is, I enjoyed meeting the teachers. We got the invitation to go meet and greet with them. Received a lot of good feedback, a lot of good ideas, and it was just a really good time. I have been listening, and they're just excellent. I mean, all of them just, you can tell they're passionate about what they do. I mean, they're just talking about the kids, we were talking about everything under the sun, what can we do to make the district better, things of improvement, and it was just great. It was great feedback, and I wish there would be more of it, because it involves all of us, and it just wasn't anything bad or anything, it just, okay, it just keeps us more in touch, and I think that's a very good thing. Last month, I said, I invited the community, teachers, and students. Had any issues, if you see me around, go ahead, pull me aside, talk to me, I'm listening. Boy, they did not disappoint. I actually received, these are the special things that were actually mailed out on the board, from the board to the community back. I got stuff back from the 50s to the 90s on how they communicated with the community, which is probably good for the PR community to have and to look over. I mean, yes, just reading everything, numbers, transparency, everything was in here. And maybe this can give you a couple of ideas of how we can market to our community, because technology was completely different. And now that we have technology, we can kind of use that to our advantage to reach more people. Like I said, with like the newsletter thing, maybe it was just too small, maybe it was fine print, I don't know, but something like this, maybe
In the
you
proof,
can
it looked a
tailor.
lot bigger.
Yeah,
Like,
so.
on the screen, it really don't like, oh, that's good size.
So yes, I got feedback, and yes, I got like Glen Ellen School District, what they did. They have a little pamphlet what they give out to their community members too. And it's got their 2-year plan, it's got their mission, their vision, it's good stuff. And then comparing it to kind of what we're working with, if we can kind of utilize that, I think that would be great. I think get more people involved, more people informed, be more transparent. You'll have more people filling these seats, giving feedback.
would like to thank the teachers for inviting us to meet and talk and everything else. And just like Mandy said, it was really nice to be able to be open and honest with each other, know what's out there, where people are wanting to go with their visions, where they're going with everything. And also, one thing I'd like to bring up was one of the reasons why I wasn't at Fall Festival is Bubba was to actually offer the 8th grade band members to actually play as part of the opening of a football game, which was that night. And one thing that really was outstanding is Mr. B was the only teacher that we know of that actually showed up to support the students that went there. And actually, there's only one student who was there from MG, and he actually showed up just to support that one student. And I thought that was really outstanding. He took his time to go there to support the student and everything else. And even that, I know he was talking to some of the kids that were there from the previous year, and to let him know that he's still involved, he cares about the kids, everything else. And I thought that was really great of him.
Just thanks again to everyone who helped with Fall Festival. PTO is really good, a big part of my life, just with my kids, and I think it's really great when you see the parents showing their kids that school is important to them and enough that they're going to take their time to help out and tell the teachers and staff that taught and worked all day and then stayed for the festival. And thank you for those board members that helped out. It was just, it's a really nice night.
We had fun.
We're lucky to have a PTO that is as active as it is. Some schools, it's non-existent. You know, we've talked about the strength of the district being the community and the families getting involved, and I hope that it just keeps continuing.
Congratulations to Eric too, as Eagle Scout.
Well, my last report, everyone has really said everything I wanted to say. Everyone's been congratulated and all these things, so we're going to just sort of move right on. I certainly enjoyed myself, but you guys already know that, and we're going to move on to the rest of it.
I totally forgot to say something. Is it too late?
Go right ahead.
Is that, I'm not on the agenda at this point.
You on now?
So congratulations to Ms. Coons, who recently got engaged. So she will be getting married here soon. So I just wanted to say congratulations on that whole wedding.
Thank you.
You have faces as red as her pants. You have a date? You have a date?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Why did she not get married?
We gotta have a
I
date.
might still be around.
Okay. Time to move on with the serious stuff coming up.
I need a motion to approve motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Lopez? Yes. Mrs. Pershbacher, yes. Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Pollard?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Dr. Anderson?
Yes. Okay. I didn't ask any questions, but you guys didn't have any. Okay, now I need an approval of the treasurer's report. No, that's already in there. Move on to items of action. Okay, I need a motion to approve a resolution entering into a municipal lease purchase agreement with the Bank of Evansville to fund the purchase of solar panels, ancillary equipment, and an amount not to exceed $942,436.
Second.
Okay, questions?
It's okay to technically the UC on this one, right? I know we still make those in UC Bank.
I think that's fine.
Questions? All right, done. Roll call.
Mrs. Pershbacher, yes. Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Dr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Pollard?
Yes.
Mrs. Lopez? Yes.
I need a motion to approve press policy update 101.
So moved. Second.
Questions? Roll call.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Dr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lopez? Yes. Mrs. Pershbacher, yes. Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Pollard?
Yes.
I need a motion to hire the following at-will employees: Crystal Jordan, individual care aide at MG; Grace T. Gates, paraprofessional on the MG; and Brittany, is it Teese? Teese, part-time latchkey aide.
So moved.
And what, yeah, that was it.
Second.
Question? All in favor? No, I'm sorry. We roll call, we do it differently. I was at-will employee Clyde Gate.
So moved.
Second. Roll call.
Mrs. Lopez?
Yes.
Mrs. Bushwhacker, yes. Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Pollard?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Dr. Anderson?
Yes. Do we have any building use requests?
There are none.
There are none. Okay, items for consideration is old business.
We'll talk about it a little bit with those of us going. I will send out kind of an itinerary agenda for us soon on when pre-conferences, who signed up, the overall review of what sessions are available. But I know something we did last year, I was asking Mr. Phillips about this, I couldn't remember what date we did it or what time, but it was to all meet together and kind of outline what sessions to hit so we have good coverage on the different sessions, so we have a lot of different takeaways, so we will try to schedule that. I'll also try to touch base with those going, what invites to go to. I know Gwen Mundorf will be there again. So that Friday night, kind of where we go and which of our partners we want to see that night, so I'll get out to you guys. E-learning days, that's something I want to touch base real quick. I haven't forgot about it, but e-learning days is something we talked about a little bit last year. I did a survey on it. At the conference we were at last week, there's still a lot of question marks in terms of some of the legal things behind e-learning days and how you're accommodating minutes, just how they're being held. So I haven't forgot about it, but before I start getting with committees, the board, and we start working out e-learning days for really our emergency snow days is what I was looking at. I kind of want to wait and see a little bit more of what other schools are doing. Just there's some questions that I can't wrap my head around.
We might get a little more information on what, e-learning days.
Well, it's, well, like our snowy emergency days, there's an option now, it's called certified e-learning days, but how they become certified through the ROE and what it takes, and the agendas and itinerary, the language you have with your teachers on how many minutes is instruction versus work time. There's just a lot of question marks that I'm struggling with, and I think a lot of others are struggling with. That I need more information on it too before we start meeting with committees and the board and working out. But it would give an option instead of taking a snow day, that our teachers could teach online. But there's a lot of
As a board
assumptions.
member, I would need.
Yeah, there's a lot of assumptions with that. When I did the survey last year, 84% of the respondents had internet access, but over half of those were via mobile device. How easy is it to get onto Google Classroom or to do homework on your mom or dad's cell phone? So those are things that we don't send our Chromebooks home yet. So there's some things I want to keep with our admin team, exploring some options and seeing what others are doing before really sitting down to work with the board and teachers.
Does the state board expect us to?
No, it's an option. It came about, it was a result of when the legislature messed up last year and they inadvertently got rid of the traditional 5.5-hour school day. And it let anything be defined as a school day up to the districts. And Sean, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but when they put that back in, people were talking about e-learning days. And would e-learning be an option? And yes, it is. So they left that in as a certified e-learning as an option. But I think a lot of the intent behind e-learning was more for high schools that can offer AP courses, that if they can't do them in a small high school, they don't have the staff and personnel for it, they could co-op with a local university or another bigger district that does have it, and they can have e-learning to get those AP courses. We'll morph into this. We could do e-learning, yeah, we could do e-learning
Well,
for
high
school
schools
days.
have always did that,
Yeah.
especially in rural districts and small districts.
But in the effort to try to promote that further and make it evolve, they got rid of the 5.5-hour day, and then they reinstituted that, but with keeping e-learning in. So just putting it in right now, for those who remember from last year, I haven't forgot about it, but we're just not ready to start really discussing it yet. And then community mobile market. You guys have your booklet, so nice write-up that was done by Suzanne Kozitek in the West End magazine, so thank you to the principals for organizing that. Ms. Kramer, I know you were a big lead in that, so thank you. And our next one is coming up on Tuesday, November 5th.
New business, food service.
Yep. In our district goal number 1 within finance, you guys want me to continue to review our purchase services, so I did that recently with our food services, and I wanted to give you a heads up. This year, we're estimated to lose about $50,000 in food services. In the last 4 years alone, our food cost has risen by $60,000. As a small district that's ordering directly from these companies, there is no insulation from rising market prices on food. It's nothing we're doing wrong. We go out to bid. It's just what the market's been doing the last 4 years. So I'd like to look at alternatives, including outsourcing, which I think can insulate better and also provide even more options in terms of food choices, things like a vegetable and fruit bar. So I'm going to complete a feasibility study with Renee and Denny's help. We're going to submit a feasibility study. Is it financially feasible to even explore this? If it does come back favorable, I would like to have the company come in and present it to you guys so you have an idea of what can a food service company do for us, because forever we've operated our own food service. Even outsourcing, we can keep our own people, but having a company like OPA, and I can send this around for you guys to look at, it's very, very good reviews. They're newer to Illinois. Bell Valley uses them, Grand Helena uses them. Very, very good reviews. Some of the other vendors that I've done kind of a preliminary check on have not been getting as favorable reviews as lately, so it's just an option. It doesn't mean anything that we have to go through, but when I see $50,000 being lost, I think I owe it to the community to at least bring something to you guys as an option to explore. And if it can improve the quality of what we offer the kids, I think I talked to Deb Brim about it beforehand and gave her the heads up. I think it could be a win-win.
And then as far as like some of the ones that we actually provide food to other,
They would do the same thing.
I was kind of curious on that. Is that a positive or is that a negative on doing that business?
We would still be the contract for those.
I'm just saying, though,
Those
is that something that's part of that, where we had that?
I would still see it as a positive. We would still make that food, we still make it in-house.
Right, I'm not saying later, I'm just saying right now, if you look at the numbers, you're saying that there's like a $50,000 loss. Is part of that $50,000 loss because we're doing
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Or are we making money by doing that?
We're making money by
Maybe,
contract
okay.
now. That's more meals that we can sell, or like it's breakfast or lunch to turn in and we either get reimbursed for, or they're actually buying. Right now, the big discrepancy, that $60,000 in food costs over 4 years, in just not having enough meals being purchased. So meals purchased, is that just what we're offering? Could there be more choices for the, and I'll tell you a big one right now. I think the number of staff meals has decreased quite a bit. And so you can have your staff, I know, like my wife works at Grand Helena, and I asked her, I said, hey, what's the food company? She eats at school almost every day because she loves the options they have. They have a salad bar, they have fresh fruits and vegetables, and then like 3 different choices in terms of lunch. So every day you have a $3.50 meal, a week you're spending $15, and that's just one person. So those do add up in terms of your revenue in. But my biggest one is when you have $60,000 over a $210,000 bill, that's a massive cost, whereas your food contractors typically only go by API. And so you're insulated a lot of it from just your food cost itself. So we'll look at a lot of options, and if it's not our best option, we stick with what we have. There's nothing to lose, but I at least want to present you guys some options in terms of the financial aspect of it and what we can provide for our students and staff.
Interesting.
Sorry, any questions on that?
Not this time.
Okay, yeah, we'll get some more information. The other one I alluded to earlier, we've talked about this for a few years now, but I believe it's time. We have it in the budget. Worked with Denny to see what we can do with it as a full-time sub position. We work in district. Multiple times a week, we have to pull a support staff member or an aide out of the classroom to cover in a room, or we have to cancel something. Having a full-time person within our district would alleviate a lot of those concerns. It would not be a teaching position, but it would be paid a little bit more than sub, with your, unless there's huge concerns with it, and we can still talk about it next month, but I want to at least post for the position. We'll post it, let the principals choose a candidate, and then have someone to present to you guys in November's meeting, and then have them ready, that next week. I think it's time our teachers and kiddos need it.
So if there's ever the rare day that all of our teachers are in, what would that?
It worked out, because we have our ideas, but I also reached out to the teachers union, and I asked them, I want your suggestions. I said, because we're not going to pay someone to be here and just sit nowhere. So we have some areas identified, but I reached out to the union co-presidents, and I said, I want you guys to talk about it. And we have a little time to do it, but what do they need? What do the teachers feel like there's a need that, because it can't be something they have to rely on every day. So like an RTIA position wouldn't work, because we can't have the hit and miss of missing a certain, but where are needs in the school and with the teachers that we can get extra support in at various times. So I reached out to them to brainstorm and get back with me, but if not, we have our ideas, but it impacts them, so I want to hear from them what their ideas are.
And that would be key.
The hours would most likely follow along with Ellis's hours. It's a lot easier for Harmony and MG to fill the first 45 minutes with a sub and then have the rest of the day covered. But having someone start on MG and Harmony's time and then have to stay later with Ellis would present hours issues. Okay.
Good.
All right. Yeah, we'll go back to that motion.
We're gonna go back to this motion, what do I need to do to just?
Instead of saying Bank of Edwards, we're just gonna say UC Bank,
So-
because the resolution identifies the company as UC Bank. And so just to be clear, since it is such a big,
Yeah, just switch over.
yeah, it just switch over, because it is such a large amount, let's just get it correct in the minutes.
Okay.
And let's reread the motion,
And we motion the whole thing?
and let's just do it again.
Correction on the action item number 1. I need a motion to approve a resolution entering into a municipal lease purchase agreement with Busey Bank to fund the purchase of solar panels and ancillary equipment in the amount not to exceed $942,436.
So second.
Just to be clear, this is the exact same resolution that we previously voted on, it's just the name was incorrect in the motion.
Roll call.
Mrs. Lopez? Yes. Mrs. Hirschbacher, yes. Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Pollan?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Dr. Anderson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, this time we have any public here who want to make comments? Going once. All right. Okay, we'll move. Upcoming board activities. In November, we have the conference in Chicago, which has been discussed. That's the week before Thanksgiving. And then we have the tentative approval of the 2019 tax levy. Is that, we're going to get the board meeting, right?
We will, yeah, so we'll have it in our committee meeting coming up. and we'll-
That's what the finance meeting we will meet, okay. And in December, we have the tax levy. Donuts with Santa, Saturday, December 7th, from 9 to 11 a.m. at Ellis.
Yay!
Yes. And then in January, we will go over the superintendent evaluation. I think Tess has been working with you.
She's been
Okay.
communicating with you guys.
Okay. Okay. Now I need a motion for closed session to appoint employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the district or legal counsel for the district, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee or against legal counsel for the district to determine its validity. However, meeting to consider an increase in compensation to a special employee of the public body that is subject to the local government wage increase. And the Transparency Act may not be closed and shall be open to the public and posted and held in accordance with this act. 5 ILCS 120/2C1 amendment by, I gotta say all that, PA 99/646. Am I still reading? Yep. Litigation. When an action against, affecting, or on behalf of the particular district has been filed and is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, or when the district finds that an action is probable or imminent, in which case the basis for the finding shall be recorded and entered into the closed